Jupiter rules Sagittarius. Jupiter is currently in Capricorn and is still retrograde. So we're currently accessing this energy from within. And so we want to ask ourselves, what's my inner process around the stories that I tell myself about society? And what about the stories that I tell myself about my professional goals? What filters have I put in place? And when I talk about filters, I really talk about, these preconceived notions of what we see because of our cultural conditioning, what we see because of our belief systems. And so what are these filters that we have in place, and what expectations came about due to those filters? Because of some of these filters that we have in place, we have certain expectations, we have certain assumptions, we have certain attitudes. So what are those expectations? What are those attitudes? What are those filters? And how do I view the current social and economic situation because of all these filters or attitudes or expectations? And then what would I see if I floated up above the current view? What would I see? So kind of like bird view, right? What would I see if I could float up above? And if I could create a new possibility that was better aligned with my higher truth, what might that look like? So just remember, you can always create new possibilities. The reason why some of us don't is because we get stuck in that conditioning, in that cultural conditioning, in those belief structures that we have, because these conditionings and these belief structures give us a certain amount of safety. It tells us who we are. It says, you are a woman, or you are, this type of ethnicity, or you are this type of, person who believes in this type of religion or this type of philosophy. And it gives us an identity. It gives us sort of a safety in who we are. And if we strip away all these cultural conditions, if we strip away all these belief systems, then who are we? And that can be scary. And so that's why very often it's very difficult for us to let go of these things and create new possibility. But if we could create new possibility that might be in better alignment with our higher truth or with universal truth, which is always based in love, what might that look like? So, Jupiter in Capricorn also conjuncts Pluto and Saturn. Even though Saturn is not in Capricorn at the time of the lunar eclipse, it is still, they're very closely aligned by vicinity in terms of their orbs, right? And so all three of them are currently retrograde. And so there is more questioning of old social structures and more looking for what is really true for ourselves in this now moment. So there's, again, an inner process, right? Because all of these planets are retrograde right now. So we're really trying to understand, how is this working for us? Because when a planet is retrograde, it becomes more of a personal process. It's no longer just a collective process. It becomes this personal process in terms of trying to align ourselves personally with what's going on in the outside world, right? So we're questioning our social structures, and we're questioning, what is really true for ourselves in this now moment. Now, naturally, we all perceive and process and communicate through the filters of our gender, of our education, of our culture, of our religion, of our history, both personal and beyond. And that said, the more we learn and grow, the more we actually add to some of that conditioning by our current experience of life, by the actual engaging with what is so in the now moment. The more we learn and grow through the challenges that we're experiencing in life, the harder it gets to judge, to objectify, and to abuse others. And that's why growing is so important. That's why learning is so important. That's why, overcoming our challenges through growing is so important. So ask yourself, might stepping outside my familiar environment generate a wider perspective? And how would I think about life if I identified as blank? So basically, fill in the blank here. Fill in if you had a different gender than you do currently, if you had a different ethnicity, if you had different ancestry, if you had different relationship status or different religious affiliations, or a different incoming bracket than you currently have, a different height, a different family construct than you were brought up in. Like, let's say you were brought up in a large family, and now you imagine that you were born as a single child or as an orphan. If you were differently abled than you are currently, right? So you can fill in a lot of different, you could make this like a big exercise. You can really fill in a lot of different things and just investigate. How would I think differently about life if I identified as boom, and fill in the blank? And then just journal on that. I think just doing that as an exercise could really open your perspective and open your mind in such tremendous ways. And it could be so valuable in how we can, relate to other people, and how we can just allow ourselves to be more tolerant towards others. Now, we might also want to take a closer look at our inner process around feeling empowered and around trusting in our own authority, which that's connected more to Pluto and Saturn. So ask yourself and really check here, like be really honest with yourself if you can, which again, it's not always easy to do, but I just encourage that, not as in a way to be judgmental, but in a way to really give ourselves the opportunity to be authentic and truthful with ourselves. So ask yourself, where do I sometimes give my power away? And who do I put in charge of what I feel or experience? To whom have I delegated the decision of what's best for me? And who gets to decide how empowered I feel? And just remember, when we ask these questions, really look at moments in your life where you have, blamed other people, where you have, criticized the establishment or criticized a group of people. When we do that, when we blame or criticize, what we're really doing is we're giving our power away. We're saying that this person or this group of people is in charge of me or has an influence over me. When really nobody does. You are the creator of your own life, of your own experience. And so we need to be really, really honest with ourselves where we're doing this, because that honesty gives us our power back. If we can say, I acknowledge that I'm doing this, I acknowledge that I have blamed so-and-so for this in my life, and I'm now ready to take my power back by saying this person is not to blame, this is my responsibility. I'm the one who chose ... And this is really important, right? This is how we can really become more powerful in our creating, in our beingness in the world. So what if I paid 5% more attention to my inner state? What if I took 5% more responsibility for who I'm being and for how that leaves me feeling? For a more in-depth look at the upcoming eclipses in relationship to our own birth charts, join us for the monthly forecasting forum on May 31st at 11:30 a.m. New York time 4:30 p.m. London time, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, LA time. And if you want to register, if you watch this video before May 31st, you can register either via the link below this video or on my homepage at AstrologerCoach.com. Or you can also get the MP4 video presentation of the webinar if you're not able to join live, or if you're watching this after May 31st, then you can purchase the webinar via my webinar page on my website. There will also be a link below this video for that as well. And yes, thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate all of you. I hope you guys are all doing okay. Please feel free to reach out to me if you're not doing okay. I'm very, very happy to support in any which way I can. And then if you have any questions about soul-based astrology courses, about the monthly forecasting forms in general, about astrology in general, please don't hesitate to reach out and ask those questions. You can always email me at info@astrologercoach.com. Always happy to answer questions. And yeah, if it's anything that's more involved that I can't answer via email, then I will just ask you to book a reading via my website. All right? So have a fantastic eclipse season. Much love. Namaste. Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.